PK52, the Saturday morning meeting. Hey, today's session is all about working the numbers, working the math, and understanding how you forecast a great income in the car business. Over the last couple of weeks, we talked about where to source customers. I've mentioned that I used a record driver. Well, if the record driver called me 3 times a week, that means there was 3 leads a week or 3 ups a week. And I know we have a difference on ups. A lot of people think an up is somebody that comes into the dealership and has seen an ad or is interested in looking at a couple of cars. That's obviously an up. But I also think an up would be somebody that approached you at a restaurant, looked at your shirt and said, "Do you work at the Toyota dealership? We're interested in a Sienna minivan." They're not in the dealership, you're away from the store and everything, but that's an up. That's a conversation you can have with a customer about a car now or in the future. So my example of ups those are all ups. I mean, anytime I can have any kind of conversation with a customer about buying a car in the future and get some follow-up information from them, then that's an up, and I'm going to count that in my total number of ups for the year. So I'm going to give you a couple of calculations today, how to project your income and how to find out exactly how many ups that you're talking to and what your real closing percentage is today. And I'm going to do those on a chart. I know that's boring, but it's going to happen. I talked about service customers. Let's say the 2015 RAV4 right now is the hottest pre-owned vehicle you have on the lot. Well, how many 2015 and 16 RAV4s went through your service department last week that you could simply have a conversation with a customer? "Hey, I'm KC, calling from the dealership, making sure your service was okay. I see that you did brakes and put a new set of tires on your vehicle. Fantastic. I hope everything worked good. Hey, listen, these are highly sought after. I work in the sales department. I do help service. I call up and thank the customers. And I want to let you know that now that you've done your service work there, your vehicle's a premium vehicle to us. We're paying premium at the auction. And so what I'd like to do is if you're interested in trading the vehicle now or in the next year, so no hurry, just give you some contact information and make it easier this time than it's ever been before. But I really want to thank you for your service and let you guys know that you're driving a vehicle that we would really love to have." So I do 5 of those a day. You think if you do 5 of those a day and you do it 4 days a week, that's 20. You take that 20, you add it into the number of ups a week. And I know you're sitting there going, "KC, a random phone call to a customer driving a Toyota is not an up." I don't know. I think that's a better up than talking to somebody on the lot that has really bad credit, driving a brand that's not a Toyota, that has no chance of buying at all. I mean, they're there, but you can't sell them a car because they can't afford to buy a car and they have too much negative equity in their trade. I mean, you would count that as an up. I'm counting up as somebody that's doing service work. They just did a customer pay labor. They just paid us over $1,000 to work on their car, so I know they have money down. You got to decide in your career in the future as you start to work with your client base, which is a better way to use your time. And then that's completely up to you. So I've got 2 charts for you. I've also talked about, working with body shops. If somebody completes body work on their car, they know the car's been wrecked now, and they're worried that they've lost value in the car. There's no dealership that's going to give them better money on a car that's been wrecked and repaired than the actual dealership that did the repair work. So this is a great conversation on the phone with a customer. Again, I know I'm being repetitive, but I'm telling you, as you go into the winter months, as we get past Labor Day, you get into October, November, December, and January, especially if you're above the Interstate 40 line, that northern corridor of the United States, traffic slows down. And when traffic slows down, you don't want to slow your income down. So prepare during your summer months to get ready for the slow months. Watch these next couple of charts as I lay these out to you and understand that I'm using sheer math. Please don't try to argue with my math because it is math. If my numbers aren't exactly your numbers, then plug your numbers in and see what it's going to take to get you to the income you desire. You deserve to make the money that you want to make, but you have to find a pathway to be able to make that money. Here are the charts. Sometimes you just have to look at the math. So what I'm going to look at right here is $100,000 worth of income, and I'm going to figure out how I'm going to get to my $100,000 worth of income. That's my goal this year. If your goal is 80 or 50 or 150, then this all works out for you. So first of all, you got to establish how much gross you're making per deal. Let's say you're making $1,200 per deal. So $1,200 per deal, let's say the average dealership pays 0.25 or 25% commission. That puts you at $300 in your pocket per deal. So my income desired obviously is $100,000. All right, so my dollars per deal would be 300. If I divide 100,000 by 300, that means I need to sell 334 car deals a year. So that makes it pretty easy. So I take 334 and I divide that by the months in a year, which will be 12. Then that means I need to average 27 vehicles a month. So my deals required 334. And my weeks worked in a year, and I'm going to try to work you 50 weeks a year. I mean, I need to give you some time off. That makes it easy. You get 2 weeks off a year. That puts you at 7 deals a week. So if you look at 7 deals a week, and you only work 5.5 days a week, that puts you right here at 1 1/4 deals per day. I know you like to look at that in a different way, but that is exactly how it is. So in order to have a $50,000 income, you need to average a little under 1 deal a day. In order to have 150, you need to average about 2 car deals a day. So that's if everything is right. If your gross is lower or higher, everything works in. But this gives you a little schematic, and every year you start, as you get into each year, you need to figure out where you need to be in order to get the income that you want. A lot of times we talk about closing percentage, and I have conversations with sales professionals all the time, and they'll tell me they're closing at 40 or 50% of the people they're talking to. And you know, I've been around a long time. I just don't know that that's a factual answer. So let's work it out this way, and then we don't have to guess at what we're doing. It's funny, you know, I used to count the way I close people. As soon as they took delivery of the car, I counted them, and so that put me at 100%. But I guess that was good for my mind. Let's say that the average salesperson says they try to talk to about 4 people a day. So it doesn't have to be 4 people on the lot. It could be 4 people, like I told you earlier, that you called up that had service work on their car, and they're in that time frame they might trade a car. So that's an active discussion you had with somebody. Let's say you work 5.5 days a week, and so what that puts you at is 22 ups per week. So that means you've actively had a conversation about trading cars with 22 people a week. So I just move right over here and I just do 22. So 22 weeks worked at 50, which puts you at 1,100 people that you had a discussion with a year. So the average salesperson in the nation sells about 15 cars a month, and I know you're probably higher than that, so you can adjust these numbers. There's 12 months in each year, so we'll put 15 at 12. That puts you at selling 180 cars. This is real simple right here. So I take the sales a year at 180, and I take the ups a year at 1,100. My active closing percentage is 16%. So everybody wants to tell me they're at 40 or 50 or 100% or whatever, but that's the actual, I mean, if you do the math, and this is how many people you talk to. Now I'm talking about if somebody asks you about a Sienna reference and you're having lunch at a restaurant, and they ask you if you work at a dealership. I mean, these are active conversations with customers. Doesn't mean have to be sold today. So this is what you want to do. That you want to talk to as many people as you can. It's a numbers game. So you've got a couple of choices here. You could take more ups in a week or a day, figure out how to do that, or you can increase your closing percentage. But the big number on all this page right here is that 1,100 people that you talk to. Remember, at the end of the day, 920 people didn't buy a car from you. That number right there is the biggest concern for me. What I want to know is am I talking to the right people? I'm talking to 1,100. Why did 920 people not buy from me at my 16% closing ratio? So I'll need to work on that. Maybe I need to talk to a higher class of customer. So hopefully this helps you as a review of planning those months as we come into the winter months when traffic becomes slower and you have to create your own traffic. This has been PK52, the Saturday Morning Meeting.